Welcome to Teaching Truth. Here's an exciting fact. The moment that you were born into this world, God was there as an unseen witness, smiling at your birth. He wanted you alive, and your arrival on the day you were born gave him great pleasure. God did not need to create you, but he chose to create you for his own enjoyment. You exist for his benefit, his glory, his purpose, and his delight. As the psalmist wrote in Psalm 149, the Lord takes pleasure in his people. And if you thought that following Jesus and being a Christian was all about religion, well, forget that. Because following Jesus is all about having an exciting relationship with him. A relationship which will alter the direction of your life. A relationship which for Peter altered the direction of his life on that day that he stepped out of the boat and walked on water with Jesus. Peter, in those moments when he walked on the water with Jesus, had intimacy with him. He had what the 11 other disciples never experienced, an intimate moment with Jesus. And in our reflections today, as we continue with our theme looking at what constitutes a water walker, the profile of a water walker, we want to discover, as Peter discovered, that one who walks on water towards Jesus and who walks, as it were, hand in hand with Jesus on the waves has intimacy with Jesus. You see, we exist for his benefit, his glory, his purpose, and his delight. Jesus desires intimacy with us, his children. We are his family. We are family. And church is so not about a business, as some portray it to be. Church is about a family, about raising up sons and daughters. Church is about relationship and creating those spaces and places and those moments where people, boys and girls, men and women, can experience intimacy with Jesus. See, Jesus today is still looking for people who want to be intimate with him. We will never experience that intimacy of relationship with Jesus if we stay in the boat. Why bother to get out of the boat? Well, it's the only way to experience intimacy, and it's the only way to experience real growth. It's the only way that true faith develops. It's the alternative to just existing and boredom and just stagnation, just sitting there. Intimacy comes when we move to where Jesus is. And intimacy is part of discovering and obeying your calling. The water was, and the water is, where Jesus is. Yes, the water may be dark, it may be wet, and it may be dangerous. But Jesus, hear this, was not in the boat. Jesus was out on the water. And the main reason Peter got out of the boat was not to show off to the other disciples, hey guys, look at me, look at what I can do. Not at all. The main reason that Peter got out of the boat is that he wanted to be where Jesus was. He wanted to have that intimate moment, that intimacy of relationship with Jesus. And because Peter put his foot over the side, walked towards Jesus, after he began to sink, he discovered that intimacy through the holding of Jesus' hand. Adrian and I, in our early days of courting, of going out together, would quite naturally, as boyfriends and girlfriends and as couples do, just hold hands walking down the street as part of creating that intimacy and that love and that support for each other. Intimacy. And intimacy comes when we begin to hold Jesus' hand, when we feel his hand gripping ours, that loving hand, when we get close to him, when we feel his heartbeat. We can only hear the heartbeat of someone when we're really close to them. So how did we discover what the heartbeat of Jesus is for our lives and for our churches and for our generation? Is to get close to Jesus, is to have that intimate relationship with him. There is no quick fix, there is no quick way to discover intimacy with God and with Jesus apart from getting out of the boat. Yes, we can hear great talks, we can read good books, we can speak to good friends, but actually God uses real world challenges like the storm which the disciples experienced to develop not only our ability to trust him, but through that to develop our intimacy with him. Intimacy. Let me just ask you the question as I ask it of myself today. Do we have that intimacy with Jesus? Do we really love Jesus? Or are we falling in love with Jesus over and over and over again, as the worship song written many years ago used to remind us? I keep falling in love with him over and over and over and over again. He gets sweeter as the days go by. I think that was the lyrics. Do we have that intimacy? Peter experienced an intimate moment with Jesus when he stepped out, when he was with Jesus, when he held Jesus' hand. Today, let's hold Jesus' hand. Let's be intimate with Jesus. Let's experience his arms around about us. Let's listen to his heartbeat. Intimacy is really, really important if we want to be like Peter and experience something which the 11 other disciples never did. But intimacy can only be experienced where we take that step, yes, perhaps into the unknown, towards Jesus. Jesus desires relationship with us. We are family. We are brothers and sisters. And Jesus desires that we would simply walk to him and crave, as it were, that intimacy for him and with him. Let's do that today. Let's sense that fresh desire that God and that Jesus wants to have that relationship with us. Forget religion. This is about relationship. This is about Jesus reaching out and desiring that intimacy with us, his children. Now that is worth stepping out of the boat.